On DC Music Rocks, we're shining a spotlight on the great songs and incredible people behind the DC region's music scene. So now let's get to know one of those great bands here. Soldiers of Suburbia is a three-piece alternative pop-punk band. They can be described as high energy, loud, abrasive, and in your face. They love the title given to them by their photographer and videographer, Rouge Crayon, who described them as a three-headed destructive pop-punk storm. So that sets the stage for these great guys. I first came across them when they were on the show. Derek Every was on the show and introduced me to these guys. And the music speaks for itself, and cool people. So that said, I finally get to listeners, it's with great pleasure that I formally introduce Soldiers of Suburbia. Say hi, guys.
Hey,
how's it going?
what an introduction.
Wow.
Powerful.
Yeah. And now most folks can only hear you. So tell them who you are, your names, and what you play in the band.
Hi, I'm Tyler. I sing and play guitar.
My name's Izzy. I play the drums.
Hey, I'm Colin, and I play the bass.
Fantastic. And now, Soldiers of Suburbia. So fill us in real quick on where the name comes from. What happened with that?
So the name is not as an exciting of a story as I wish that it was. So I think that the idea that I've come up with is that every time that we get asked about our name, we should just come up with something that isn't how we came up with the name, so that it sounds more interesting. So I'm gonna go with one time.
Oh, tell the truth, sir. Tell the truth.
No, really, it's just that I'm a really big Green Day fan, and Green Day has a song called "Jesus of Suburbia," and so the original name of the band was just gonna be Suburbia, which is actually a different cool band in the scene. But I decided that I should try to make it a little more interesting. So I don't know, Soldiers of Suburbia just happened.
Soldiers of Suburbia. That's amazing. And how did you guys find each other? How did the band start?
Well, I was the one who I guess started the band technically, and then I sort of put out some for those of you listening in your cars, Colin just made fun of me, and I did not appreciate it. But I basically just put out an ad on Facebook and said that I was looking for some other musicians to play with, and Izzy responded, said that she would like to come play drums, which is funny because in middle school, Izzy and I actually hated each other, and then
Really?
Yeah.
I have never not liked someone as much as I liked Tyler, as I didn't like Tyler in middle school. Don't know what it was.
Yeah, we didn't mesh. But then for some reason, 2 years later, I was looking for a drummer, and she was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And then we started playing together, and it worked out. It went well.
And now you're okay people. You don't actually hate each other all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
No, I still hate them.
Yeah, we actually don't like each other at all. And then it was Colin. Would you like to tell the story of how we met and how?
Yes, Colin. Tell us.
Ignored
Tell
you.
It was a clear night, romantic dinner. No, we actually used to play at the same place years ago at 4410 over in Haymarket, and it was just one of those things where I was playing open mic and he was just there, and I saw him, and it was just like, oh, I need to.
We had an emotional connection.
We saw eye to eye. No,
Unlike the hate between these other two, it was love with you guys. Is that what you're saying?
I fell in
love at first sight. No, it was one of those things where it was just right time at the right place, and I reached out to him, and that's pretty much just how it started, because it was originally Tyler and Izzy trying their thing, just the two of them,
which was okay, but it was not. We really needed a bass.
That bass frequency, I tell you, the bassists don't always get a lot of love, but when you don't have the bass, you miss it so much. It's a thing.
And
it was painful.
Yeah, so we auditioned a couple bass players, and then Colin showed up, and we played with him, and it was pretty much a situation where as soon as we started playing, we knew that we wanted him to join the band, but we had to play it cool. So as he walked away, we were like, yeah, we'll call you, man, like it's fine. And then he left, and then I turned to Izzy and I was like, yeah, it's good. He's gonna play. And then we've been playing together for a year now.
The
So
rest is history.
yeah,
That's awesome.
It's nice
I
though is
love it,
that
guys.
we're just, it's not just like a band to us. Like it's not like, okay, time to go to work. We gotta play some songs, play some shows. As you see, we're just having a good time.
yeah.
We're
fun.
You
Let's
enjoy.
hang out.
Three
You
happy
like
kids.
each other now. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is good. Now, what about? So, where did music come from for you guys? Were you band kids? What was the? How did music enter? I want to hear from each of you. How did music enter your lives?
Izzy, go ahead.
I am a band kid.
Okay.
Loud and proud. Drumline, middle school band, everything. Very out there, very happy about it.
All the drums. All right. And does that mean you also played like all the other symphonic drums, like marimba and like xylophone
Yeah,
and
marimba,
timpani and
xylophone.
all of that stuff too?
Everything. And
Okay.
I snare on the drum line. So, a little bit of everything.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. And Colin, what about you, man?
It was one of those things where it just started off as being a kid where if I really, get specific, I was a child and for Christmas I got a PlayStation and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 on the PS2 and the
Nice.
opening song for the intro of the game and like Tony Hawk, his silhouette is like going down like a half pipe or something and TNT by AC/DC is playing and I was
Nice.
like I don't even know how old it was. This was like 2003
Uh-huh.
and I was just sitting there in my pajamas just like what, and that was kind of the rest. And
Wait,
eventually-
but you play bass. You play guitar. What
I-
did
yeah,
you start
I
playing
started off
first?
on guitar,
Okay.
and just switched over to bass, and eventually, just growing up, you just all the new bands and all the new music just comes at you at once. So it was just kind of a,
So do you ever like are you happy about the transition to bass then?
yeah,
I get.
yeah. It's definitely one of those things where, it's not like I never play guitar when I'm not, doing anything. But when we do like acoustic stuff, I still play guitar, and Tyler and I always, go back and forth on, oh, I'm better at guitar. No, I'm the songwriter.
But the joke,
But
the joke I like to make, which is a very mean joke, but I think it's on your website, is that Colin wanted to be in our band so bad that he switched to
yeah,
to
I
bass.
was desperate.
that he was so desperate to be in our band, which is not exactly true, but it's a funny joke to me. So that's the joke that I would
So
make.
tell us the truth.
I mean, it was one of those situations where he messaged me and he was like, "Hey, if you ever needed a guitar player, that I would love to come play with you." And I was sort of like, "Well, actually, we need a bass player." And he was like, "I'll do it. Like it's cool, And so that was sort of how it was. It was a lot more casual than I like to make it out to be.
Got it. Colin, you're the man. That's
Hey.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler. What about you, man?
Well, I mean, man, I have a very similar story to Colin that we like to talk about, which is I mean I've always been around music. My aunt is a like classical pianist and all this stuff, and I was learning. I took guitar lessons starting when I was 4, but the one thing that really sort of grabbed me and made me want to start playing rock music is I got Guitar Hero 3 on the PlayStation. So these are very
Excellent.
similar stories, and if you've ever played
Uh-huh.
Guitar Hero 3, which I recommend, it's a very good game. The first, you start up the game and it's Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses, and that was one of those things where I heard that and my world was turned inside out, and so here we are.
I love it. I love how you guys are influenced by all of these classic,
Yeah.
awesome rock
Oh, yeah.
songs too. It wasn't some kind of pop song. It wasn't a Justin Timberlake song. It was like classic freaking rock.
Oh yeah,
Yes, guitar.
Colin and I jam
I
out to
love
some
it.
AC/DC. It's good
That-
times.
That is fantastic. All right. Now, what about you guys outside of music then? So, what are the hobbies? What do you do? What do you do outside of the band?
I like to bake. I bake Tyler and Colin cupcakes sometimes.
They're very good cupcakes.
I am like
Nice.
the best drummer that they could possibly have, just because of the cupcakes. Not even based off of talent, just the cupcakes.
They're good cupcakes, man. I don't know what else to say about it.
that is one of these days. The next show, if the listeners show up, there should be some cupcakes. Don't
Yeah.
hold out on us.
We used to do a thing where to entice people to buy tickets, we used to say if you buy a ticket from us, we'll give you a cupcake, and we would put like SOS on the top of it and stuff.
Fantastic.
I would go to
All right.
school like the weekend after a show with a big plastic bucket of cupcakes and just give them to everyone in my school who bought tickets.
Yep.
And it was
That's
awesome.
funny. All right. So, Izzy's the baker.
Yeah.
Colin, what do you got?
I'm just your run-of-the-mill 20-year-old kid. Just playing in a band. I mean, that's pretty much it. This Soldiers of Suburbia for the last year has been my, lifestyle. It's a job. It's my...
Yeah. And school, I take it too, or
Not currently.
not currently? Okay.
But,
He works at a pretty dope mini golf place.
yeah, working
Nice.
some jobs here and there.
Yep,
And,
okay.
like I said, just, trying to get by. As soon as I graduated high school in 2015, and, the reality of the quote-unquote real world has slowly but surely crept into my life. And
Well, I love that you still got the music going on,
but
dude.
yeah, it's
Absolutely.
definitely fun.
Keep it going. Tyler, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, music is pretty much the only thing that I'm good at. So I pretty much just sit around and play music or listen to music. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I got a pretty cool bike the other day, so that's exciting. I don't know.
Excellent. I love it, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Well,
cool.
You
so
still
I've got one more. There's one question that I love to ask, and that's if you as a band could offer one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't do it. No.
A band's a trap. Let's see. Personally, I would say that the biggest thing that I think the three of us have learned is that no matter what you go through as a band, it's good, like what Colin said earlier, it's good to actually be friends outside of being in a band as opposed to just being in a band, because it can get stressful and it can get difficult, and it's nice that when you're in a stressful time, if you're trying to figure out how to book a show or something, it's nice that you can just be like, you know what, we should just go get some pizza and just hang out for a minute, and it's still fun and you're still in a good environment.
That's the main thing.
That's
Just having
awesome.
fun with it, because it's not like every time we hang out, it's not, where we rehearse some songs for about an hour and then we all go home and don't talk to each other ever again, and then the next time we see each other, we're playing music. It's definitely not like that. I stay at Izzy's house till like 3 a.m. sometimes hanging out.
Yeah, it's more like these are my
Over.
only friends.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
even if I used
And-
to hate Tyler, now he's my best
We
friend.
go to the
Son's
mall. We go
That's
to,
King's Dominion. Go to
Friendship,
King's Dominion.
friendship is important.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Izzy and Tyler's
what-
birthday are coming up. They're back to back this
Yeah.
weekend.
very true.
Now tell me what the website is for you guys if they want to find out more about you. What do they got?
SoldiersOfSuburbiaBand.com.
Soldiers of Suburbia Band. Check it out, and they also have information about an Indiegogo campaign on there,
That is true, and
Which-
on the link is on all of our social media, which again you can find if you go to our website.
and they would love support for. This is for the upcoming album. or
This is
recording?
our EP, our debut EP, because we have the new single out currently, so we're trying to